Hey everyone, today we're going to dive into some seriously powerful stories and some really practical advice for anyone out there, especially women who are carving out their own path in life. We're going to talk about how to push back against those outside pressures, how to build that rock-solid inner strength, and get inspired by some amazing people who just completely defied the odds. For so many of us, the journey starts right here, by running straight into a wall of negativity. From the time we're young, the world can throw these really harsh, really limiting messages at us. It's like these phrases are designed to build a cage around our potential before we even know we have wings to fly. And it just keeps coming, right? These expectations start to pile up, trying to squeeze our ambitions into this tiny, pre-approved box. The whole point is to make your world feel smaller, to convince you that your dreams have a ceiling and you better not try to break through it. Wow. Hearing these things over and over, it can feel incredibly heavy. It's like the world has already made up its mind about you. But you know what? The really dangerous part is what happens when we start to believe it. That's when the real fight begins. And it's not against the world anymore, it's against ourselves. And that brings us to maybe the most important battlefield of all, the one that's right inside our own heads. We've got to talk about how to rewire that little voice, that inner critic that's been holding us back for way too long. So here's the trap. After hearing things like you're weak or you're not good enough a million times, that outside voice starts to creep inside. It becomes your voice. It becomes that inner critic whispering, I'm not strong enough. And that creates this constant feeling of inferiority that can feel just impossible to shake. Okay, so check this out, because this is a really fascinating bit of psychology. Our brains have this little quirk. They latch onto the main subject, not the negative part. So if you keep telling yourself, I am not weak, all your brain really hears is weak, weak, weak. The trick, the real key, is to flip the script. Don't deny what you don't want. You gotta actively declare what you do want. Say, I am strong. That's the word you want your mind to grab onto. And this quote it nails it. This is the foundation of that whole rewiring process. It starts with just accepting yourself, radically, realizing that you are a one-of-a-kind, completely priceless creation. See, the goal isn't to be like everybody else. The goal is to be fully, unapologetically you. That's where real, unshakable confidence comes from. All right, so once you start working on that inner voice, how does that actually play out in the real world? Well, let's take a look at some pioneers who didn't just talk about breaking down barriers, they took a sledgehammer to them. Let's start with Karen Beatty. Think about this. At a time and in a place where law enforcement was a world completely dominated by men, she didn't just decide to join, she became the very first female IPS officer in India. There was no path for her. She had to carve one out of solid rock, all on her own. And she didn't stop there. She rose to lead police forces for the United Nations. Her story just proves that leadership isn't some title someone gives you, it's a standard you set for yourself. And then you have Kalpana Chawla, who took her ambition to a whole different level, like literally a different frontier, space. She was a brilliant aeronautical engineer who smashed every single expectation to become the first woman of Indian origin to leave this planet. Just try to wrap your head around the scale of that achievement. On her first mission alone, she traveled over 10 million kilometers. Her dreams weren't just big, they were astronomical. Her life is just this incredible proof that with enough passion, your purpose can become bigger than the world itself. And listen to her own words. This captures just this absolute, all-in kind of passion. This wasn't a 9-to-5 job for her. It was her entire being, her reason for existing. It's just such a powerful statement about what's possible when your dedication is that complete. So ambition is one thing, but what happens when your entire world just completely falls apart? This next part is about a different kind of strength. It's about the profound power of resilience, the strength you need to rebuild your life from scratch. So this is Muniba Mazari. When she was just 21 years old, a car accident changed her life forever. The list of injuries was just horrific. And the final result was that she was left paralyzed from the waist down. Can you just imagine hearing those words, one after the other? The doctors basically handed her a life sentence, erasing her entire future. Every single dream she had, as an artist, as a woman, they just declared it all impossible. It was a moment of complete and utter devastation.
But in that absolute darkness, stuck in a hospital bed, just staring at blank white walls, she made a choice. A powerful choice. She asked her brother to bring her a small canvas and some paints. She figured if she couldn't change her reality, she could at least change how she saw it. She decided to fight back, using art as her weapon.
And this, right here, this is the most important part of her story. That first painting, it wasn't about trying to create a masterpiece. It was about survival. It was her way of processing all that pain, of taking back a piece of herself that she thought was gone forever. She literally transformed her deepest trauma into a source of healing and, eventually, incredible strength. Okay, so we've heard these incredible stories of raw ambition and unbelievable resilience. We've talked about the tools we can use to rewire our own inner critic. So the big question now is, what does all this mean for you? So what is the path forward from here? It's about taking these lessons and making them real in your own life. It means having the guts to challenge those voices that try to put you in a box while you're actively working to make your own inner voice your #1 fan. It means looking to these pioneers not just for a little inspiration, but as hard evidence that you can rebuild from absolutely anything. Because really, at the end of the day, it all boils down to one simple, powerful thing: accepting yourself and knowing your unique, priceless worth. The stories of Kiran Bedi, Kalpana Chawla, and Moniba Mazari, they're written. They're in the history books. They've shown all of us what's possible. So now, it's your turn. What's your next chapter going to be?